All right, we are calling this meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. Attendance. Terry Werner. Here. Matthew McGovern.
Here.
Maury Domejo.
Here.
Mike McLeod.
Here.
And Sam Houston.
Here.
Excellent. Then, do we have public comment? One. Mary Beth Barber. Mary.
We can do that. Is it a legal meeting about the pool?
Thank you.
Nothing like that.
What's that?
Impolite.
Yeah. I was just.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. How about now? Do we have any public comments now?
Mary Beth Barber.
Ms. Hartford, come on up.
We're always wired to.
Yeah, there's coffee around the corner if anyone.
Okay, y'all are working on the budget. Tomorrow's budget workshop. There's $24,000 allocated for the library. Please keep that amount in there because we need it. Okay, so upcoming events, this coming Saturday, September 13th from 11 to 12. The library is hosting Arts and Crafts Hour for kids and their parents. Okay, the following Saturday on September 20th, a local author, Debbie Ruffalo, will read from her book, If a Chicken Could Shop is for Children.
Thank you for that clarification.
But can adults come too?
Of course.
There's some strange books out there. Then she'll lead the children through a character building workshop. This is from 11 to 1. She was originally scheduled back in August. It was the same day as tax-free weekend. We have learned don't schedule anything tax-free weekend. Everybody's out shopping. Okay, October 18th and 19th is the River Appreciation Festival. The library will have the San Marcos Mermaids in 413 Main Street. They'll read stories and books about the river and also about endangered species. Following that, there'll be some crafts related to endangered species. Okay, then on Friday, December the 5th, put that on your calendar for the 18th annual downtown tree lighting. The library will start planning for this event real soon. And I'll have to contact Sandra to make sure he'll be here. Okay, weekly events on Wednesdays from 4:30 to 5:30 is Lego Club. That's very popular with the little kids. Then on Thursday from 11 to 12 is story time. Then on Friday 11 to 12, that's creative conversations. By the way, research has shown that being creative, like drawing, coloring, and knitting, all improve a person's mood and decrease depression. So y'all might want to do that before the council meeting.
What are you saying we're depressed?
Color, stay in the lines, whatever. By the way, after the meeting adjourns this evening, take a few minutes to look in the library window over there. There's a TV screen that runs continuously. There's mental health messages as well as information about Martindale businesses, and it shows up at night here to read.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that all? That's all. Excellent. All right, moving right along. New business. Discussion on the 2026 tax rate. So the information that was sent in the original agenda had to be revised because it was past the deadline for when we could propose a tax rate that was higher than the voter approved rate of 3.5%. So it has been modified back to the 3.5% increase in tax rate. And that is what Jared originally, when we talked to y'all last time about that we had contracted with him to figure out the budget using his same materials as he's been using. That was the rate that he had inserted. So nothing changes from what was posted on the public hearing document, and it is a 0.3010% tax rate. Actually, that says 3.5, but that is a typo because it's actually what would it be? Let's see, percent
It's
per $100, right? So it would be
0.03.
0.03. That looks incorrect to me. 10.
The voter approval rate from Caldwell County he gave us a long time ago
Mhm.
was 0.3101.
That's it.
0.3101.
And that's backwards, 3101.
That's the one that Jared used. on the
Please
sheet.
fix that, yeah. Just fix it on your agenda to 0.3101.
It says it in here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
but
correct
that's not
one.
on the agenda.
The agenda itself is incorrect, but not the documents that you have.
The document.
The documents are correct. It's just only the agenda.
Point.
It's 0.3101%.
Okay.
Oh, I thought he said 3105.
No.
No.
No, 3101%.
Okay.
3101%.
So it's 0.3101 per $100.
31 cents per $100.
Yeah, they don't use percent, they just use 31.01 cents per 100 because where does decimal go? It gets confusing. So they just do it based on the $100 rate.
So it's $31 per,
Per
or
100, per 100.
Mhm.
and 100,000,
Yeah.
Per dollar.
100,000 is 310.
Yes,
$310 per every 100,000 of.
$310.10.
Okay, let's make that a little more difficult.
They give it to you on the thing, so.
Well, I see it, but
Thank
still.
goodness we can't, I tried to calculate this once, let me tell you.
1, oh,
I calculated it. I was so proud of myself.
I'm
when
good
it
for you,
mapped.
you must have more, you might, hopefully have a spreadsheet to do.
No, actually, but I looked at the sheet to check my work. I looked at the sheet that came from the county. And I was like, oh my gosh, what?
That's good,
Inches?
that's good.
Cause Dwayne and I were like, that de minimis rate can't be right. And then I did
can't
I did a few little formulas and I went, oh my God, it's right.
The administration,
I'm just saying,
Is that-
I'm just saying,
that's
but I
it.
calculated it.
it's good,
That's all.
awesome.
All right, so at any rate, yeah, so it would be $310.10 for a
$100.
$100,000 home. And you know what, I asked Dwayne, cause I wrote $31 there, and I said, isn't there a trick math there? I can't remember what it was. And he said, no, it's fine, it's just $31, but he's wrong, it's $310. It's the decimal point that Matt was just talking about. So it's 310.10 cents.
What was the tax rate for last year?
Hold on, I know that too.
It says it.
Last year,
If you print out your sheet, Mr. McLeod, you'd see it.
Oh, print out my sheet,
it's
thank you.
3082.
yes, it's 0.3082 last year, which amounts to a 4.06% increase this year.
And since we passed
part
the
of the
deadline,
inflation.
we can't increase it anymore.
That's
Correct. It has to stay this amount.
basically 30 days. We'd have to start at least 30 days ago. You'd have to really think about having the first meeting in the first week of August.
Yeah.
It's 71 days before the election. You have to have it ready 71 days. So this year was the 25th. I think was the cutoff.
Of August.
Yes, of August.
Yes, correct. So next year, I'm sad to report, but happy to report, we will need to really seriously consider the tax rate above what we already have. There is an email to former Mayor Glaze that was like in a drawer or a file or something. That was from a resident here who was citing the fact that we have continually since way before her, like not, she didn't start it. We just haven't increased beyond, the voter approved rate in like a billion years. And the resident was pointing out the fact that that will not, like you just also pointed out, that doesn't keep up with its rate of inflation even. So, there is absolutely no way to build in maintenance for the roads that people are really, really, really fed up with, or the sewer system, any of our other infrastructure. So we will need to start working on this earlier next year, one thing, and decide what we wanna do with that, if you wanna raise it, if you don't wanna raise it, but we at least need to open the conversation next year of, is it appropriate or not appropriate? Yes, ma'am, your question.
Sorry, do you know how long, it has been?
No, I know it was before, do you know?
I know Mr. Painter told me it has been more than 15 years.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's,
I was gonna say 10, I know it's been more than 10, but I don't know how far before 10, and so 15.
Mr. Painter was very clear about, it,
Yeah.
you know, he
Yeah.
talks about budgets.
No, he's very, very good at that, he's
And he
smart,
said, yeah, it's never been done,
yeah.
never been done.
Yeah. And there is all the way between, because we are a city of less than 30,000, we can use the de minimis rate, we're not, but we could. If we go over this rate called the de minimis rate, and it's on this, if you wanna look at it out front, or, I don't remember if I copied it today or not.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
It is on there and it's on the website, and, the de minimis rate actually, is a rate that is special for very small taxing groups that, you can go above, because it's meant to kind of keep you from getting dinged too hard by the fact that you don't have as many people, so you don't have as much property tax and you don't have as much income. So, if you go over the de minimis rate, you have to have an election. But if you are between, like if you're over the adjustable value and you're under the voter approval rate and you're over the voter approval rate and you're under the de minimis rate, you can go anywhere from voter approval up to your de minimis rate. And it's up to the voters to petition that they want to have it go back to an election. But it doesn't automatically require an election. So it just sort of depends. You've got a lot of leeway. Like this year it was 77 cents per
So
thing.
double.
Yeah, it was double.
It's actually been coming down. It was over $1 a couple
See?
years ago.
And so like that, there is a lot of difference between 31 cents and 77 cents. That's double what it was. I mean, what it could have been without triggering an election. So I think the soft spot for a lot of small cities like us is somewhere in between at a rate that will provide us enough to bridge the gap between what our expenses are if we start including saving for roads or for sewers or that kind of infrastructure development, and not so much that people feel like this is unfair, we need to have an election about the tax rate. And that's a very broad 31 cents to 77 cents this year. So it just.
It's not on there, Maury's looking, this is
I was trying to figure out if we went to, I mean, it's gonna toss a number out there, 50 cents or something.
Mhm.
What difference would that make in our city revenue? That's what I was trying to figure
the
out.
caveat though, you gotta be really careful, because if the public triggers an election, we have to know specifically what the other part of that equation is. So the concern is you go above the voter approved VAR, right, VAR, I always say VAT, because I'm Canadian, you know, but VAR, then the ballot only shows old rate and the rate proposed by the council. So we have to be very careful, because if you lose the election and someone petitions and it goes to election, what is the risk? Because the risk is it can go down below where you're.
No, it goes back to the voter approval rate.
I'd like to double check that, yeah.
I'll look into that. I haven't had that specific question, so I'll look into that.
That is a.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I read that because we were talking about raising it, except that we missed the deadline. And so when we looked at that, we were like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen if we attempted to raise it just enough that we don't run at a deficit without cutting anything necessary and therefore possibly not, there you go, and possibly not making people mad. And so I think I was able to get up to about 34 cents or 0.35, 0.34 or 0.35. And it was only gonna be like $3 a month per 100,000 extra. So it would only raise our rate, I mean, it would only raise our revenue that you were asking about $40,000 to $50,000.
Oh, that's huge in the context of our budget.
Huge in the context of our budget. It's smaller in the context of each person having to put into the hat. So is it risky? Absolutely, and you do wanna be careful of that, 100%.
Yeah, Jared always said we would go back to the previous year's rate.
No,
Always.
that's not true.
Okay, I hope.
Or it's not true anymore.
I hope it's not true.
It's not. That's if you don't pass a budget. And then that does happen. If you don't pass a budget, that happens. If you actually go out to vote, then it just only goes down to the voter approved rate.
Like to check that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but our attorney will check
Yeah,
that for us.
from that.
yeah.
But there's another provision about, so kind of like language mix. In the tax code, 2605C talks about when, a municipality does not adopt a rate, it will default functionally, is what it is. It defaults to the lower of last year's rate and the no new revenue rate. So there's a bunch of different pieces and in
A
the
lot of caveats.
yes, and the tax code was sort of overhauled a handful of years ago, with a variety of additional things added, but I'll confirm specifically on what happens, if a mandatory election is triggered and the election fails.
It would be a petition election, not a mandatory, because we wouldn't go all the way up to 77. At least I hope we wouldn't.
No.
That's like running.
No, that'd be-
Petition election, got
That'd be a little much all at once.
That's running with scissors and I don't think we need to do that.
No.
Okay, so, yeah, so that's where we are. I just needed to clarify first that,
Do we need to make a motion to approve this?
yes, and then we have to have Deanna write down, each person has to vote separately, yeah. And,
And so it needs to be very specifically on the proposed rate. So you're not, I wanna be clear that you're not yet adopting the rate. What's going to happen is that this evening, you're approving a proposed rate. Because it's in excess of the no new revenue rate, there will be a public hearing on that rate, that you choose. And then after that, after the budget's adopted, so that caveat, then the rate will be adopted formally. But this is the proposed rate for a hearing to occur so that you may continue on the checkpoint path, that this process entails.
So do we have to decide on a date for the,
what happens, what's weird about that is that there's all these deadlines of 10 days from then, 7 days from blah, blah, blah. So we have to get it into the paper, the Caldwell, and it has to be the Caldwell paper, not the San Marcos paper, because we're in Caldwell County. We've learned so many things. So many things I never thought I'd need to know. And, so what the deal is once we vote tonight on this, I have to call the lady from the tax office at Caldwell County, tell her who voted what. She'll put it into the paper, but it can't run until next Thursday, because tonight's already Tuesday night. Tuesday is their cutoff day, so it's too late. So it won't get in this week. It has to go in next week, and then we have to get 7 business days before we can do a final, like before we can do the hearing for the tax rate. So by the time we get all of this done, it's like the 29th and it has to be done by the 30th. So we're gonna need an extra special meeting for the 29th. And she will put in the paper that that's the night of the hearing. So, yes, we decide, but we kind of don't decide because like the calendar is counting down for us. So.
There's always a two vote.
All right. Anyone want to make?
All right, so I'll make a motion on the proposed 2026 tax rate for the city of Arndale to be 0.3101. Is that good?
Yes. I'll second that.
All right,
Discussion.
So now we have a roll call?
yes.
Do we have any discussion, any more discussion?
Any discussion?
It's pretty, no, it's pretty,
Pretty cut and dry.
yeah, cut and dry.
It's kind of our own choice at this point.
Okay. Then Deanna, will you just, call the names and get them down? Do I call the names and you get them down?
Yeah, go over like in your.
I'm going. Do I need this?
Only if anybody misbehaves.
It's Miss May. All right, ready? Terry Werner,
Yes.
Matthew McGovern.
Yes.
I started to say Matthew McLeod, and I'm like, that's not right. Maury Domijo,
Yes.
Mike McLeod,
Yes.
Sam Houston Clinton.
Yes.
Excellent. Unanimous. Unanimatory. All right, excellent, y'all. We are just cruising through. That was amazing. I love us. All right, next, discussion and possible action. Establish a subcommittee to meet with the Texas Historic Commission to share relevant city grant information and ask whether they will lift the stop work order for the Northwest River Road project. Now, this might seem a little unusual, yes?
Am I allowed to participate in this?
You're not allowed to participate in any voting, but you don't have to like leave the room or anything, but you really should just.
I just want to clarify, so
Yeah.
everyone's aware.
Yes,
Can he meet with the Texas Historical Commission?
no,
I don't
he can't
understand.
he has a conflict of interest that he has publicly acknowledged and done an affidavit for, so he cannot participate in anything that might swing the direction of the vote one way or another, because he stands to benefit financially from the outcome.
Okay.
So that's why he's not supposed to participate in any of it. However, with that said, it does seem like, I was thinking about this, and I know I at least chatted with Maury about it, and Maury suggested that maybe, if you're willing, Terry and Mike, would you guys be willing to be the subcommittee?
Yes.
Would you guys go?
Yeah.
I know
Thank you.
you've been really busy, but I just wanna make sure that you're okay with doing that.
They said yes.
Okay,
They
No
said
problem.
then, that would be wonderful if we could vote on that,
yes. See if we can get this project unstuck.
yeah, yeah.
No
mhm.
problem. My pleasure.
And if we can't get it unstuck, we'd like to work it into the budget by the end of the month to, cover that 1/2 of a mile of road so that it gets paved either way. But if we can just get it unstuck so we can move forward, that's even better. So, I just wanted to let you know, we're trying to cover it, both sides, like, you know what I'm saying? So if you guys can get it unstuck, please do. And,
Do we have a contact?
I will reach out to Alyssa because
Okay.
her people, it's not even her, but somebody in her office is
Yeah.
the one that talks to
Okay.
them. So I'll find out who's the
Okay,
person.
no problem.
Or it might just be the person on the letter, but I'll find out. I'll email you both.
So the
Yeah,
idea
that,
is, well, go ahead.
John,
Yes,
what was his name? John?
yes,
Anyway, yeah, the one
That guy.
that sent us the email.
yes. Him. But I'll double check on that and make sure there's not a more specific, like under him kind of person.
Okay.
But yeah, that's who I think it is whoever sent the email, that guy.
So what we're trying to do is, we learned from Commissioner Terrio that the Caldwell County bond is supposed to cover, or we've been told by Don Leclerc, the guy you know, that this summer, they will start completely redoing Northwest River Road from Highway 80 back to Quail Run. They will have all their equipment, they'll have all the material there. We believe there's some grant money available that takes us from Quail Run to the Shoe Tree.
Perfect.
That leaves only
Across that.
the Shoe Tree
Yeah.
to Lockhart Street.
Yep.
So the hope is we get the project unstuck
Unstuck.
and we
Put it-
get
put it
that
in.
covered that way so that the city doesn't have to pay for it.
Exactly.
The second option would be, we'd ask for a quote from Don Leclerc for, as a backup,
Gotcha.
what would it cost for under the city's dime to go from the shoe tree.
Is that just doing an overlay, or is that doing a culvert?
Oh, lordy,
He was gonna do a leveling and an overlay and then a chip and seal.
Yeah,
right on.
So there
You did
would be-
it.
Yeah, so it would be, there'd be no culverts under, by the graveyard.
Right.
Just be an overlay.
Right,
Yeah,
Got it,
exactly.
okay,
but he would level it up.
Gotcha.
So like there's parts of Northwest River Road where,
gotcha.
as you, I'm sure you're aware, the water fell out.
The one problem though, with the ravine, that bulkhead has totally collapsed.
Mhm.
The problem is, there's nothing left, so there needs, you know, go to Quail Run where Lanzola's doing that bulkhead.
Mhm.
You see what they built that, there needs to be some structure like that, because if we don't do anything, it's gonna eventually cut. It's already starting to cut in right next to the ravine.
I got you.
Okay?
Or one idea that, I mean, and it may not work and it may not be worth anyone's time, but like Maury was saying, like, we wanna make sure, just as a backup precaution, we have a workaround in case
Gotcha.
we can't get it to work out, but if we have to wait until the lawsuit's over and all of that stuff, right? The FEMA program that we just were discussing at the, flood preparation, workshop, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. We had the representative from that program who was talking about flood mitigation strategies and the money that FEMA has for that. We could always come back, like, do the road now. And he was saying, Don McClure was saying, right now, part of the problem in a couple of places on River Road is that there is, concrete built up on the sides that is actually holding the water on. So they're gonna cut through that when they fix the road and get it to drain better. And he also had made an observation that whenever somebody, I don't know who did it, it was a guardian angel, came and, kind of just, like bulldozed through
That was
some of,
Catherine,
huh?
that was Catherine.
Oh, the ravine.
Oh, there you go.
The ravine, you mean the ravine?
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
he
Catherine
was
got,
on the
no,
truck,
She
Bill
got
and,
someone to
Bill
do
and
it.
I did it with a shovel a
There you
year
go.
before, but she had the guys use, bulldozer.
No, she was not driving the bulldozer.
I know,
That's
but
fine,
if they
because
did, I
I
have
always wanted
pictures.
to do that.
I have pictures and y'all.
I'm only gonna do it if someone.
Well,
throws
it made a difference. It doesn't.
It does, it helps,
It does.
it helps a ton. So anyway,
The problem with this corner
even,
is it pools there because that
Yes.
drain is gone.
yeah,
And it also,
Yeah.
it
Well,
also,
It goes that way because the road, because they're turning that way, but there is a culvert there that's collapsed, it's there.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly, I have a picture of it, I've sent it to Turk 2 or 3 times, cause I marked the tree number, and he says, I can't find it, I said, dude, I walk the dog by there every other day for the
Yeah.
last 4 years, trust me, I know
We're
where
there.
I've been digging.
On that every
Well, so the point is, if worst case scenario, we have to use the backup plan and do the road out of city funds, we can still go back and do the culvert with FEMA funds. You know, and that way we get the drainage part and we get the road part. And it won't be the underground fancy ones, but we can at least get the full
Something.
drainage fixed where that wall is not completely toppled over.
The good news is, if y'all go down Lockhart Street, Leclerc did that,
Yes,
and he did a great job.
Yes,
He
he
put,
did.
he put, he
Yeah.
put a crown on it,
yeah,
and that water drains off of that road, and then he put a chip seal.
well, we did a bid for it.
That road was done probably 4 or 5 years ago. It's holding up very well, and
It
if you
is.
go over, the reason I learned about it, you know, the Three Dudes Winery?
Yeah.
That's an overlay. And that was done 7 or 8 years ago. It's really holding up well. It's a very efficient way to do. And as I said before, we're very fortunate in this town with either the soil conditions, but our road beds are really solid. They just haven't been maintained. So go to Skulls Road, see how bad it is. They got no base underneath. Here, we've got a really good foundation. So an overlay would be a good way to fix our roads. It's a shoot hole all the way to Quail. The only thing is the bridge, that's another issue.
so can we vote on that?
We'll make it-
I sure flashlight myself.
Okay, so, let's say, the last thing that happens is exactly what Laura mentioned is you get money from FEMA to redo the culverts.
It wouldn't be the whole like under
No,
road
no, no,
culvert
I
and all that.
But how is that gonna, are we still going to have the problem with the cemetery? I don't see
That's what they're gonna,
That's what we're gonna discuss.
They're gonna discuss.
Right, we're gonna get back into conversation about that and see what
So
it
they're,
is.
they're gonna go to the THC and speak with the
I understand
THC.
about right now, but I'm talking about in 2 years. The cemetery could file another, because aren't we trying to do the same
If we-
thing?
No,
Something
because
about
the point of the cemetery, it's so confusing, I know y'all, it is so confusing, but the point of the cemetery lawsuit, which we can't really get into a lot about it, but the only point to it is who owns the land. It's just about ownership.
Nothing about erosion or anything. like
It's
that.
not about erosion, it's not about any of it, it's just who's the owner. And they don't want us to dig in on it until they know who owns it, because we can't really go in and just start digging somewhere that we don't own the land.
This is
Gotta
what
get permission.
I don't
We
know.
like-
Right? No, that's all that is. So by then, that will be clarified and we'll know, we'll have a direction for that.
Why don't we make a motion?
Okay.
And
Move on,
get this subcommittee.
Right on.
approved.
let's do it. I can't do it, somebody else has to do it. You shouldn't have to do your own motion. Come on, somebody step up.
I make a motion to form a subcommittee consisting of Mike McLeod and Terry Warner to meet with the Texas Historic Commission to discuss the possibility of how we will proceed with this project based on the information that the city has been adhering to and receiving over the course of this project.
That's really long. That sounds like I said it.
We will form a subcommittee to talk to the historic commission,
How about that?
consisting of 2 city council employees.
Nice.
Or people.
I second
Members.
the second thing.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
abstain.
Oh, that's right.
One.
I guess I can vote for myself, so.
Yes,
Okay,
you
no,
can.
you're good.
Of course you
All
can.
right, that's good.
All right, we're
To the
good then.
subcommittee.
We're good for that then. Yay. And y'all, I am so happy because every single person's on a subcommittee. All right, excellent. Done. Checked it off. Next, the appointment of Denton Navarro Rodriguez, Bernal Santi, and Zach PC as city attorney firm for the city of Martindale specifically. Natalie would be our new person every week. Dan has passed the baton to Natalie. You remember her from a couple of weeks ago. She came and did a little trial run. And then, Amanda Padilla could continue as our city planner, who, by the way, has been gangbusters. Esmeralda, come on, say it, Casares. Esmeralda Casares, my grandmother, she offered to teach me Spanish in her house, like, well, she's like, just come here, Loretta, I'll teach you what we're cooking, and then after like 3 weeks, she's all, Loretta,
Never mind.
some people were only meant to speak one language. It was so insulting. Anyhow, she never said she was sorry. She is the FOIA person and paralegal, and I know that we use her all the time as well. So that would be really helpful to us to be able to continue using them because we are using them all the time.
Well, is it?
Oh, and by the way, Dwayne did say we are spending less than we spent, even though we have all of these people working with us, we're spending less than we did with our former attorney. And he was only one person. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask, is it appropriate to ask how much they make?
There is they gave us all a packet. He looks like maybe he's looking for it.
I'm looking, but.
There is a packet and do you have it somewhere? No.
Maybe
I-
was it on in that agenda packet for that meeting?
Yes. And it's cause there's a different rate for each person.
Okay.
Like the planner is a different rate than the attorney because the planner is not an attorney, but she does have her own expertise. And then the attorney that comes to the meetings is a different rate and et cetera, and et cetera, and et cetera. Paralegals are a different rate. So, and then they bill on the 10th of an hour. I think with our former attorney, we were paying basically kind of a lump some every month. And, this way we only pay when we use their services. So if we're not using one of them, we're not paying that amount. Here, I can look for it. It's, one moment.
I don't remember what meeting that was.
Looking for it.
You
I'm looking.
remember what meeting?
Wow.
There's, it was in July or something.
There's some sodas over there if anyone wants a cookie or a soda or something.
Thank you. Thank you. Was for sure before June 16.
Yeah, it's in the other pool.
So it was before June 16? Before June 16, between May and June is essentially what I would be.
Yeah, because it was.
Oh, they got appointed June 5th. There we go. Yeah. I have that one somewhere, but I don't. It's not in there.
I don't have all of it. I have a copy of some of the rest of it.
I think it was on the last page or something about how much they charge per hour. I think the range was like 240 to a little higher than that, but if you say,
Per hour,
yes.
but we don't use them for an hour at a time, except the planner. We do use her an hour. The rest of them are like however long it takes them to research an issue and answer us is pretty much how long they bill us for. So like a lot of our bills from them are like, I don't know, 20 minutes or 10 minutes, or a phone call was 5 minutes or whatever.
I don't see it on here. I think
It's in there. I don't-
it just has the names. I don't see where it says on that.
It might not be on the last page. You might have remembered that wrong.
Well, maybe I'm sorry, yeah.
Well, and I made your staple come undone, sorry.
Well, I didn't take it personally.
I remember them talking about
It all
it.
just
Last
says,
page. Page 21.
okay, apparently I don't have page 15. This is only page 15. Minimum council rates, including municipal court. Shareholder 250, so that means like a partner?
Yes,
Who's Dan?
like Dan was a partner, so he was
Well,
250.
It says shareholder 250, partner 230, senior associate 215, associate 200, and paralegal 115, and that's per hour.
Mhm.
And where do you fall into this criteria?
I'm an associate.
Thank you.
So special counsel rate, shareholder 350, so that means if we have a special meeting,
Special counsel, no, that's like for a separate, like
oh,
that's.
that's something specific.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay. And then what would the Texas Public Information Act, we ask them about that? What does that mean?
we do that with the paralegal often, yeah.
There's
So-
attorney review in that though, but it's really truncated. Because Esme has been doing the, open records request for like a decade at this point. And so, she does the bulk of that work, and then the attorney will come in and do a review of the information to approve, because we are who has to sign it.
Mhm.
But it's, the vast majority of that time is, completed by a paralegal.
Okay, so it says a paralegal makes 125 an hour.
One really nice thing that we've noticed, me and Javi, until Javi Don does. Was that at least like with the city planner, we've been going through all of the, what do you call them, applications for permits and things of that nature. And it's really cool because we're working with her on those things and planning and zoning issues. But then like she explains them to you, and the next time you don't have to call her, because you already know that, you know what I'm saying? So part of it is a learning curve that we feel like, and I know, Deanna's mentioned that with the FOIA too, the Texas.
So then this says direct hire litigation rates, including administrative hearings, so it says that.
That's different too. That would be like for an actual, well, no, actually, administrative hearing,
Cause it says,
but that's not part of what we're using them for.
cause it says then the paralegal makes 175 and the.
Yeah, to do all the research for whatever the case is. But we don't typically use them for that. I mean, we don't usually have those issues.
I mean, as far as legal rates go, those are pretty reasonable.
Well, how much was,
Like
Jared?
seven,
Not Jared, what
He
was
was
Jared making?
Kent,
Ken was $17.50 a month.
He was $175 an hour with, I believe, the guarantee was $17.50.
Yeah.
1750.
So no matter what, whether we used them or not, we had to pay a bottom line of
he was on the
$17.50.
retainer of $750.
And then if we went over whatever that equated to, we had to pay $175 more an hour.
And right
So do
now,
you know
with
how
no
much-
retainer, right now with no retainer, we're paying less.
Well, do you know how much we've paid them so far? Do you know how much we've had to?
No, but I do know that Dwayne will be on the phone tomorrow night for the hearing meeting, and he can tell us on the budget how much we paid them so far and how much we haven't.
Yeah, this one goes.
She can make that fun remark stating, it's less, but I feel like we've contacted the attorneys a lot.
All the time.
Yeah, so you may not even have billed everything yet.
No, we just got our most recent bill from them, actually.
What I like about, as you mentioned, when you reach out to them and call, is that you get either an immediate response then, or they'll say, okay, we'll call you in a certain amount of time, which is very helpful because you learn something and then you progress. I think when we tried to deal with the previous attorney, he would almost either, I don't mean to say drag his feet or pick and choose, but that's almost what I think was going on, you know? That we were having a hard time progressing. And I think with the expertise that I've seen and experienced from this law firm, that they have so many different facets that it seems to be helpful and beneficial for us at this point. So I make a motion to accept the consideration of the appointments of the people mentioned in 1.3 and hire them on a contractual basis.
They don't have a contract though, right? We just signed an agreement, but it's not an actual, because I know he said we could just cancel at any time kind of thing.
So we're an office, the city attorney's an office that y'all appoint. And so we do it through, the whatever formal documentation,
It's a letter.
yes, it's a letter that lays out all of that information, it goes, but, as city attorneys, as the office, we are appointed and removed functionally at will of the body.
Yeah, we
Actually,
could let you know a month in advance, I think is what they said, if we wanted to stop or whatever.
Oh.
He said he likes to have them.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
We're under no long-term.
Yeah, and so if for whatever reason, like any other office in the city, you can choose to appoint someone else in that role.
I'll take the word contract out of my motion and then listen.
So we're no longer, they're no longer gonna, if you make that motion, they're no longer considered interim.
Right. Right,
As needed basis.
but they're no longer considered interim, but they're still basically interim because there's not a contract. So you're not required to keep them, just like today, we could tell them no, never mind, or next week, we could tell them, no, never mind.
I just don't know what our other choices are. I mean, do we have other choices that we could research? I mean, it seems like everything else we've had more choices. Not to say there's anything wrong with what they're doing. I really don't know exactly how much we've spent, but we haven't really had any other options. We haven't had anybody that we could talk to or find out their rates or anything like that.
I definitely don't think that it would be in the city's best interest to do anything other than a firm, now that we've tried a firm, because we are so small and we don't have the expertise of all of those different people.
And we're only two of us.
Right, there's only two of us. Yeah, so I definitely think we need that broader representation of having somebody that understands city planning, who already understands all of the planning and zoning laws and rules and changes. And, has pointed out that like we've got things missing from our website that were required as of 2 legislative sessions ago that we didn't know, so we didn't have them up there. We have somebody that is helping us build the ordinances. We have somebody that is helping Deanna do the open information requests. If you get a single person, that's great, but they don't have the breadth
And
that we need.
I feel like personally, out of working with them, here not only do you get their expertise as in like their advice, but they also provide you with, feedback plus templates. Something that
Mhm.
helps us being two people in this office is the fact that it's not just, hey, is this how I'm supposed to do it? Yes, okay, thank you, bye. It's
It's like, oh, I'll
rather,
send whatever.
yes,
Mhm.
but
Oh, you
here,
hired another
yes, but
person.
that, it's like they're,
She works with Donna. It's
Oh.
just a utility firm.
Oh, okay.
I don't mean just with utilities. They're very important. I just mean she's not doing like the higher level stuff.
it's the first week.
Yeah, and it is a correct. But yeah, no, you're right about that. And so anyways, my point being, there are other firms and I would be happy to look at other firms. But I definitely feel like hiring a one-man band is not in our best interest right now because we don't have a staff, much less a depth of experience and expertise in all of these different legal issues. We don't have that. And it has made night and day difference to figure out what we're doing that's not legally compliant, for example. Yeah, we can definitely keep looking. And since there is no contractual obligation, we could still appoint them and keep looking at the same time. It doesn't change anything. We just said that by the 4th, we would make a decision, and now we didn't get to meet on the 4th, so we have to make a decision tonight. And, that's why it's on the agenda, because that was the motion that was passed at the time. So there is not a downside to confirming them right now, because there's no contract. And I would be happy to research, or you can research on your own, other firms that offer multiple positions and bring them to council, and we can definitely keep working on that.
Okay.
But I think we need more than just a one-man guy. However, I have talked to both Dan and the judge, and they have said, they would both be in agreement that it's fine with both of them on both sides if we wanted to hire a different attorney to do our court-based stuff. So if we want a different prosecutor for any of the court-based cases, Dan doesn't mind that, neither does the judge. They both said we have full flexibility about that. So that's an option too.
I have a question about billing. When you guys do billing, is that time here or travel included? You're billing from time of flight, and where are you guys coming from? Can you come in?
I'm coming from Austin office.
So, there you go.
Thank you.
Anyone? Oh, well,
Anyone second? Anyone second?
further discussion?
We didn't have a second yet.
Anyone?
We
Second?
might wanna watch Marty come back in, I guess.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that since he stepped out.
He's coming.
Just a quick, you had a, you had a good.
It gets off the way.
Yeah, if you guys want a cookie or anything, grab it. I mean, go right ahead. We have time, we have nothing but time now.
Oh,
This has not happened or anything like that, but I'm just curious about the labyrinth. Can a city council member contact the lawyer or representative directly?
Yeah,
Is it
that's
have to
such a
go
good question.
through?
And I think that the attorney would have to answer that because I know in the when I was on council with Mayor Glaze as the mayor, he was usually very open to have that happen. Until it got too expensive, and then she'd be like, oh, okay, wait, no, hold on. So it kind of depended on the issue, but I think that's up to you. Do you have an opinion?
Sure, so, generally speaking, it's kind of a nebulous concept. So we represent the city, which is an abstract entity, right? That is sort of floating and nebulous. It's the public writ large functionally. Whereas each individual council member is a physical manifestation of that abstraction, right? And so no one council person, has authority as an individual council person to necessarily provide direction to, any one staff member, us included. However, when things, so like, for example, the last meeting I was at, the council designated Sam to chat with our planner to get the ordinance worked out, right? So the body chose an individual that had the authority to make discretionary decisions and provide some direction on particular matters. So council people can reach out and ask questions, and get guidance and feedback. However, they're absent specific authority from the body, they're not able to provide, direction. Also, as just sort of so everybody's aware, there isn't attorney-client individually between myself and an individual council member. So any information that, you as someone on the council shares with us, is information that can and likely would be shared with other council people in the event that that instance arose, or was required. And so I share that as an FYI, but also to kind of understand how that relationship works, because it can be a little, and not necessarily intuitive, because we are all kind of cogs in the machine of this larger abstract that's the public. Is that clear for all council?
So the council has a specific legal question, that is what TML is for.
Well, no, well, maybe, it
If
depends.
we're asking a question that is,
Yeah.
that is protecting us,
Okay,
that's what I use. I
Yeah.
don't waste my time
Sure,
calling
yeah,
you when I have a free resource,
absolutely,
I call
TML,
them too.
and
Yeah.
there's a question.
They write a lot of the stuff for Gmail.
yeah.
So I mean, but that's what they're there for. I always talk to Catherine, I was in communication with Daniel, I copied
Mhm.
the mayor, obviously, because that's just the right, polite thing to do. But I would never contact, Bud before without getting at least, Catherine knowledge
Mhm.
that we're not going over the budget, so.
Right.
She has a working knowledge of what it is. If we all start calling and we're racking up a bill,
Mhm.
I'll always ask him questions at council.
yeah, it's always,
That's what I always do.
That always works too.
So you don't get it.
Yeah, I don't waste my time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always do.
Yeah.
You got me one time.
If I mention it, it's usually a question I need answered, and
Sure.
I don't wanna waste your time.
Yeah, of course.
And it's the city's money, if I can get it done
And-
for free.
But on the other hand, a few different questions that you have corresponded with Daniel about.
Yeah, and
They affect the entire
And-
council
and that was different.
meetings and all of that,
that
so
was
they're
totally
important.
different. Yeah, that was totally different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that
always.
was, that was, you knew about it, and
Yeah.
you're the one who promoted the,
No, that, I
conversation.
think that makes sense too, because when it's a question that you have about you, that's one thing. But when it's a question that you have that affects all of us as a group or an entity,
Mhm.
as an abstract entity, then, I think it is important. You
Yeah,
know,
the physical manifestation.
that's right.
So
Yes,
here's the reason, okay, if the River Advisory Committee is unsure of something before we kind of had to go through the mayor,
Mhm.
is this something, just for clarification, not to like
Right,
advice or, okay, we're gonna do this,
Yeah.
change the law. for
Yeah.
Morristown.
Yeah.
Obviously not, but
and no, you
Okay.
can't. Because the river committee is purely advisory, just like the park committee is.
okay,
So since you're a purely advisory committee, you have to go through council to make any formal action. So you could ask council to talk to the attorney about XYZ issue, and then council would have to decide whether or not they felt like they wanted to do that.
Okay, and so the only way I can do that is at a city council meeting.
Yeah, you'd have to make a recommendation.
From the committee. The committee.
Yeah, the committee would have to make the recommendation to the council.
Got to a point that there was a question, legal question, and we were like, well, we can't get an answer for 2 weeks. or
Immediately.
even- Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
why,
yeah.
that's why I asked.
I get it, I totally get it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Did you have anything different to say about that? Always just tell me. Go, no, I don't think so.
No, it's okay, that was good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we were waiting for you to come back. So we were, no, that's totally fine. So we were kind of feeling like the discussion was done. We need a second on the motion. So
I'll
that
second.
we don't. So we can vote.
Yep, I second.
All right, so we have a second. Is there any further conversation about that?
Is there any possible way to make them like interim for like 90 days until we have a chance to explore other options, or is that not part of the motion?
Yes, I suppose you could do whatever you want
I
to,
bet
but
we could say we could review it, we could review this decision in 90 days.
yeah,
Because we don't even
because because there isn't a contract.
Right.
They're
We don't
always
know.
gonna be a day-to-day
We
appointment, so
can
we
make
can
them-
choose again anytime we want, in 90 days or in 2 days.
We could
There
make them,
we're not making a permanent decision, because they don't have a contract. Like, if it was somebody that had a contract, it'd be different, right? Because then, like, you have to decide tonight, and then you can't decide for a year. But it's not like that, because they don't have a contract. They just say, okay,
But
well,
we have to have an attorney appointed,
yes.
so.
Yeah, so you can either appoint them and then change your mind when you research more people.
I would carry it, I agree, let's appoint, because I think there's some legality with regard to us having one appointed. But I'd like to have a 90-day review at some point, because I wanna go over the billing and discuss. I know you've only really gotten 1 full month worth of billing, and was on the 10th, so they've only,
Yes.
well, I don't know.
We
I
just
haven't
got
seen it.
today's bill.
I know, but I haven't seen it, I'd like to see
I
that
think
bill.
that's a very good idea.
And then, we're talking about giving people responsibilities here. And honestly, I don't want to, if I can, give this due to someone who's making $125 an hour as possible, if it's something that it should be done by staff, if at all possible. So, being fiscally responsible is what I'm most concerned about with regard to this. I, as a rule of thumb, don't like using attorneys because everything, it's the last resort for me, as a rule of thumb. It's the last resort for me. I'm all for doing this and having a 90-day review if you guys don't mind, just so we can have an opportunity to look at the billing. So if we could amend the motion to do a 90-day review.
I don't remember what the motion was
I
exactly.
amend the motion that I have previously stated to say, from 90 days from the date of September.
So we'll,
Ninth.
so the next city council meeting, the first one of December is the 4th. So we can say we'll do a review on the 4th of December, would that work for?
Okay, we'll do a review of the, attorneys that we have appointed in, on December 4th, and we will also review the, financial side of having them assist the city
Thank you,
on
Sam.
December 4th.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
I second his amendment.
Anyone in favor?
Can we vote, do you have anything to say, Mr. McLeod?
No, you said,
Okay, you're being real quiet over there, it's unusual.
yeah, they say I talk too much, so I'll let everybody else talk tonight.
So we keep.
Yeah, you have all the votes there. My concerns are the same as yours, guys.
All right. I'm calling the vote. That always seems like very forceful, aggressive. Okay, so anyone in favor?
I,
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, then, it passes. Do I do that? Next.
1.4.
1.4, consider the appointment of Greg Hudson as interim consultant city administrator. To begin immediately, that's not actually immediately, because in our conversation with him last night, he did inform us that he is, he has not resigned from his current position in Gilmer until October 1. So it would begin October 1. However, he said that we would begin our thing with him October 1. But he did say he would be available if we wanted him to, in terms of answering questions or getting information, or if we need help with the budgeting or whatever, because the budgeting is due by then. I know that Mike was able to meet with him, Sam met with him, and then asked some follow-up questions yesterday. And Maury, did you get a chance to talk to him?
I spoke to him for about 10-15 minutes.
Okay, and so, if you take a look at the, resume that I provided, as I explained to council in an email, when he was first like randomly coming by town, I found him because TML puts out a thing where they like call the internet for news stories, about different city issues, and his retirement was announced. And, it caught my eye because it's Gilmer, and that's in East Texas, close to where I went to high school.
Gilmer.
Yes. And so, I read the newspaper article about him, and all of the stuff that he said was a lot of the same kind of things that we need. And his city is, just a little bit larger than our city. It's about 4,800, I think he said. And, so it's kind of like the next step of where we need to go. So I kind of felt like he'd be a good person to, be able to kind of guide us a little bit about what we need to do. And then, looking at his accomplishments, I know Dwayne said that the achievement of the CAFR Award for Financial Reporting, that was something that Dwayne has been working for 2 years to get us to achieve. So he is very happy about that. I think last night, Mr. Hudson said that he has gotten it for, I forget what, 2022 maybe until present, that he's gotten it every year since then. I might have those years wrong, but I know it was like from whenever until now. Also looking at his support for the fire department, even though the fire department is not part of our city, I'm just saying he supports it. And then all of the work that he did on building regulations and updating zoning and subdivisions and things, and code compliance. Sam asked him a few questions about that yesterday, the code compliance program, with no budget impact for the city of Gilmer. So I thought, and the other thing was parks. He has done like a full remodel of all the parks in the area. And so I just thought, if he has all of those kinds of skill sets, he is not interested, because he's retiring from a full-time job. He is not interested in doing a full-time, like permanent position anywhere. He just formed an LLC or an
LLC.
whichever one. Well, I don't know which one it was
You
though.
might have done an LP.
No, it wasn't an LP though.
It was
But-
an LLC, I think you said.
Okay, well, whichever it was, he just formed that to be a consultant company for cities that are around our size that need a lot of help, with like focusing what their identity is and how to build income without exhausting people's individual resident income.
I'm a little confused, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm a little confused as to what, so he isn't interested in any kind of permanent position. He would only be interested in part-time, right? So are we hiring him as a consultant because I know part of it said to help us hire someone else.
Mhm.
So
He would come here for a short time, I don't know how long, I haven't exactly sat down because we haven't been at a point where I felt like I had permission from the council to discuss it in detail. But, the basic outline is that he would come here, he'll step in immediately. he said yesterday that he was telling Sam that he would prefer to, really get to know our budget and our priorities and that kind of thing first. And then figure out by looking at all of our stuff, like kind of doing a review of things that administrators do. What are our biggest needs, our areas of needs in terms of administration? What are the things that we would want to put into maybe some sort of a long-term plan? I told him we have this,
Comprehensive.
that thing. I told him we have that thing happening. And so he wants to review that and the budget. After he's been here and kind of gotten a feel for our personality and how we work and what happens with us and the county and the whoever, I don't know. Then he would help set us up with kind of a plan of here's where you can, where you can start really capitalizing on your strengths as a city. Focus what you're trying to do, and then take that information and wind that into basically a job description, looking for the right kind of city administrator that has the skill set to help us do those things. Because different cities, he was explaining, have different needs or different priorities. So you may need a city administrator that's better at one thing or another thing. So at that point, whenever he kind of gets all that figured out, he would help us put that into a job description. And then we would all be on this committee with people like staff and then maybe a couple of residents as well that would put out the ads and do the interviewing, and he would help us interview and kind of review like how can we score them well to get the person we're looking for.
Has he discussed at all how much he would want to get paid?
Yes, well, he asked what we were willing to pay. And so what Jared has in the budget that we had discussed, and we'll see it all tomorrow in writing, was no more than 28 hours a week at $50 an hour. And, that was based on, Jared and I went through what the going rates for full-time city administrators are. And then, I was like, so can we just like cut that in half? And he said, no, because when you're trying to get a part-time person, you kind of have to do a little bit more than half or you won't get them because they can get more working full-time.
What were you paying, Jared?
We were paying Jared $35 an hour for approximately 4 to 6 hours a week, plus benefits.
So, real quick question, my question is, how is he going to, I know he lives at Gilmore. How is he going to, is he gonna drive down here? Is he gonna charge us travel time?
Oh, no, there's no travel involved. He brought his wife with him when he came that day. I didn't even know that, but, he was saying yesterday that he's never been somewhere. When we met at the Red Barn, he was saying he's never been somewhere that he fell in love with so fast as he did here. And he just thinks that when you and Sam were describing the city, that it was exactly what you were saying, that it's a hidden gem and he really just wants to be part of it. So he said, that what he and his wife have talked about just preliminarily, they haven't formed a definite plan because they don't have any reason to, like we haven't made any contacts in that sense with him. But yesterday he said that he and his wife were recently talking about it. What he may do is, was it the hotel?
It was the Motel 6 in San Marcos.
It's only
$60 a night.
$60 a night. And she was like, honey, that's only $60 a night. And he was like, yeah, that's a great deal. So, he could come and stay here for the week and then leave, after the council meeting and drive back. Or I told him we do so many Zoom meetings that if he wanted to come like 1 week and then, do Zoom appointments the next week with us, and then come the next week and then do Zoom appointments the next week.
Would he be at city council meetings like Jared?
Absolutely every single one. Yep.
Okay, so no
100%.
more than 28 hours
Right.
per week at $55?
50.
50.
Yeah, I don't know if that's that, you can tell me.
1,200 a week.
1,200 miles?
A week.
Originally, the budget was 45, so you bumped it to 50.
Yes,
What about?
So 100 grand a
is he-
year.
Is he gonna pay his food
No,
and lodging?
60.
No, it's only 28 hours. It's full-time.
So it's,
Okay.
here, I'll do the, I
So if
did
you
it
did 40 hours a week, it'd be 100 grand, but if you only do 28, then it's
28, so 28 times 50, right? That's per week, that's 1,400 times 4, it's 5,600 times 12 is 67,200.
all right.
Quite a bit more than we were paying Jared, I mean,
but Jared wasn't here 28 hours.
well, he was here more at first and then,
But at the end, he wasn't, so that's why,
but at first,
but that's why.
but I'm just saying, at first, he was here and he was not going to law school, and he was spending more time
Mm-hmm.
here at that point. And actually, I will say, I've been here a long time, that really worked out really well, him being part, at first, because he didn't work that much at the end. And he had Adrian here, and he kind of took Adrian under his wing, and they would interface a lot, and he would make them.
Well, do we have any other applicants?
Yeah, that's another thing. That's the
Because if we
thing.
don't,
Well, that's another thing, when we're involved, we had both, I know we interviewed about three candidates.
Sure, and we will too.
But go back to our past a little bit, back during the Bunker administration, we hired a guy named Tom Forrest, full-time, and we paid him like almost $68,000 a year, and that's when the town really went in the red. So, I mean, that's when I came up with, let's do a part-time city manager, and I will say, with Jared, it worked out pretty well at first. Then he went to law school, so, but I think I'm with you, we need to have multiple candidates to interview.
We will, this is an interim part-time position.
So what he's offering is essentially getting us on our feet with someone that you want. As full-time, as,
But
you know,
why-
as
why can't
permanent
we
as
just-
you wanna make it.
Because there is 2 people here and one is a part-time student.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, if we advertise to.
No, they have not.
So he'd be coming in here to kind
To
of
do
guide
that.
us to do that.
Okay, but have we advertised for other?
No, we have not.
We just lost Javi, like.
We lost Javi
Yeah.
24 hours ago. His body is still warm.
It's just,
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
well, like with Tommy, with
Yes,
Jared.
and
we
we're
had-
gonna do all
we
of
had-
that.
I mean, we put it out, there with TML or whatever, and we had multiple candidates come in
Yeah.
and the council interview.
and we're not against that, we will, yeah, we will.
It's just very difficult now that we're seeing that we have our new mayor here. We had Javier resign, we had Jared resign, we had the attorney resign. And we are facing a difficult challenge now because we're right at the budget year, we're starting the fiscal year. We'll be talking about the budget and the personnel costs, but we need somebody like, as soon as she was mentioning October 1st. Laura has spent a long time, and Deanna both. I mean, their learning curve has increased, but they have all been basically now starting at practically ground zero. They have received no really guidance from the previous mayor, and the paperwork was impossible to either ascertain or even find. And so they're spending a lot of time going through the paperwork, figuring out where things have just been dropped off or put aside or anything. I mean, I have been spending more time with Laura since she became elected than, besides Deanna, probably out of anybody else in this whole room. And I would like to see others of us on the council to occasionally come in and assist Laura and say, do you need any help with anything? Is there anything that you need any help with? I would like to see you and other council
I
members.
have assisted the mayor, I told you about Don.
Oh, we need more of that. We need more of
We
that.
have been, I mean, we're getting off track.
No, but I'm just saying that.
Just say that, what if we put ads, what if we work with this guy now? To put ads in the TML or anyplace else now to start to generate the candidates. But I think what we're hearing is that from a bandwidth point of view, we just don't have
Anything like this.
we don't. And this would be someone with some experience to get them started while the council is going through the process of identifying and hiring. And I think the way you described Jared in the beginning, that sounds perfect. I agree with you. You know, fewer hours, but good impact. That sounds like a great.
It worked out well for
That
us.
sounds like a great situation. So if we could find that again, that would be fantastic. But we gotta live until we can find that.
Seriously.
Well, it just, I'm great with the person, his resume seems
Yeah, he's-
amazing, it's just, it sounds really expensive, and how do we know if that's gonna fit in the budget? I mean,
It does fit in the budget, but we're gonna talk about it tomorrow night.
yeah, that's the kind of backwards thing, is that we're talking about the budget after we appoint people that we're gonna pay. So that's the part that's kind of a little bit confusing.
Well, we don't have hobby as an expense any longer, and we don't have Jared as
But
an
we've been
expense.
paying attorney or paralegal and attorneys to help with that kind of stuff, so I don't know.
But less than we were paying Kent before.
We don't really,
I don't think that's true.
we don't
but
really, we haven't seen any numbers yet.
No,
I can't, for me, I can't make a decision on anything until I see the numbers. You know, what this law firm has charged us. I mean, they seem like doing a great job,
Right.
but if I gotta see the numbers.
So
no,
we-
but I think what you're saying is exactly right, Mark. I mean, I do think that we're kind of in a pinch.
We are.
And I do think that we need some guidance because we are about to do the budget and there are some huge changes in the budget
The
that
budget's a
somebody,
mess right now, to be
Yeah.
honest. It's a real problem.
so, but I mean, what choice do we
So
have?
if we simultaneously started our search for the affordable qualified person and use this person as an interim, which he's retiring and wants to be an interim anyway,
Mhm.
it wouldn't be even a medium-term expense. It would be a very short-term expense until we could get to a sustainable person. And we
That's all
would
he
get.
wants. He does not want us to pay him more.
Mary Beth, do you want to say something?
I got a question. Okay, this so-called future person you're going to hire, not this guy. Is he gonna be full-time, part-time, or,
Part-time.
because Jared was barely here.
Well, at first he was. He was more.
There were many times I came here.
Miss Barber, I would know more than you, because I've been on council for, I've been here. He was here 20 hours, whatever, then he went to law school, as I said earlier, and he spent less time. At first he was, okay, but I'm saying, that was a good way to start, it was a good plan.
Yeah, somebody working the
At the
hours.
beginning of-
working
Yeah,
before
at
he went to
first,
law
At the
school.
beginning of his tenure, he was
Yeah.
a model
Yeah.
for what we'd like.
Yeah, exactly.
Finish asking my question. Okay, Holly Harris was a student and he was learning, and he wasn't here full-time either. I
days a
don't
week.
know how many hours he was.
3 days a week.
Between Jared's hours and Holly Harris' hours, was that even full-time?
No.
Okay, so this new person in the future, could they be part-time?
Yes,
Yes. that's
up
the
to
plan.
28
The
hours.
plan.
Okay.
Up to, not over and not always 28, up to 28.
Should we see the budget before, I mean, this gentleman looks very qualified to me, but should we check our budget?
So he can't start till October
So
first.
we got time then.
When's our next meeting?
I'd like an opportunity to speak to him too, to be honest with you.
That'd be
I
great.
wasn't able to-
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be good.
I wasn't.
So we got time. All
I'd
right.
love to hear your opinion.
I mean, residents.
When's our next council
18th.
meeting?
Next Thursday, on the 18th.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
What, so we've got the budget meeting tomorrow. Could we table this until the 18th
That's not
and
great.
pick it back up?
Yeah.
I would be willing to.
And that way y'all get to see the budget.
Make a motion.
The budget has been online for at least 3 weeks, but go right ahead.
I've seen it.
All right, I make a motion that we table 1.4 until the following, the next city council meeting, which will give us a chance to evaluate, all of us on the council, a chance to evaluate the budget numbers so we can better make a decision.
I second that.
All right, next.
Say, oh, we're not voting.
We didn't vote. Anyone in favor? No, second. Second the motion.
Okay,
It's been
discuss.
seconded,
Mike seconded it.
so all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next action. consider the appointment of Diana Luisa Guevara Garza as the city clerk assistant, city administrator, beginning immediately. We would go back to the model that we had when Adrian was here, where the same person does
Yay.
both rather than paying two separate people,
Yay.
to do separate jobs. So she is very well qualified. Javi was just beginning his program even now, and she will be finishing her master's degree program in December. She already submitted her thesis. She knows the background information. She was absolutely on fire when we were talking to, Mr. Hudson, regarding almost every single possible business thing that was happening in this city. I was so impressed. And so was he, by the way. But I think one thing that we do not have right now is the luxury of time. There is no one here who knows how to do anything, and there's just no bodies. There's no bodies here. So, hiring her to do both is going to be much smarter than hiring an assistant administrator who we have to train to know the city. Because there's no one here to train them how to be an administrator. I am not an administrator, believe it or not. I am a mayor. That's not the same as administrator. So an administrator needs to be here to hire a brand new person, another student or whoever, part-time, who can be trained to do the job. So it's much better to just hire her to do both like we had with Adrian. That's all. Make a motion, discuss, whatever you wanna do.
If I remember correctly, Adrian was originally the city clerk. And then he got moved over to the assistant city administrator, and Deanna became the city clerk. So we had two separate roles.
Yeah, the note, Donna, you wanna speak to that?
Yeah, so I came in as utilities. Adrian got from utilities, he was mentoring Sylvia at the time. And then he went into, because Sylvia was retiring. And then he became the city clerk, and, you know, Jared being part-time, the idea of let's go ahead and make Adrian an assistant because the body was in person, Jared wasn't. And he became assistant city administrator with the guidance of Jared, so he was the legwork, Jared was the head. And, with all due respect, I did not mean that in that way. And so then he was becoming very busy, and so he hired two utilities clerks, one being Christian Valencia at the time, and the other one being Donna Castleberry, now currently our utilities clerk. Christian resigned, took a job with the San Marcos School District, and I came into the picture. 7 months later, Adrian, with 6 months, still till his graduation date, seeks a position at Bartlett as their city administrator, and leaving Jared open without a assistant city administrator and without a city clerk. Adrian knew that he was either going to move up in the city of Martindale or move out of the city of Martindale. With Jared staying behind as city administrator, he had to move out of the city, considering he had a master's at that point. And so he had been kind of passing down knowledge like, hey, you know, you are in the master's program, you are seeking, experience in local government and to pursue in the future a city administrator role. So he started slowly introducing me to, being assistant city clerk to him, but I was utilities clerk / assistant city clerk. So he started introducing me to the city clerk role, and then 7 months later he left. And so there was interviews, they appointed me as interim city clerk, and then they ran interviews for city clerk, Demas and Jared and Mayor Glaze. And Councilman McGovern was part of these interviews. And they ran interviews for city clerk and assistant city administrator. And that's when this is my understanding to what they told me, they didn't wanna disturb the peace in what I had learned as city clerk. So they kept me as city clerk and hired a whole new person with, zero background in the city to get billed by Jared to be assistant city administrator. Now both roles are empty. So we're back to just me as city.
So we only added the role of assistant city administrator for Hottie.
Correct.
That's what I'm thinking.
Cause there was Adrian missing them. So if we find a person who will help us hire a city administrator, do we need an assistant city administrator?
No, and in fact, Mr. Hudson had indicated when we were discussing just general, like just talking about municipalities. He had indicated that having both positions was somewhat unusual, that it's much more common to have a person who's both, that is an assistant city administrator / city clerk, than to have two different people doing those jobs, because most small cities just manage their budget differently than that. They pay one person and then put the other money into other staff positions.
Well, would it be okay to table until we decide what we're gonna do about the other person?
Yes, but why?
Well, it just seems like if we're gonna have a city administrator and we're gonna have somebody who's gonna help us hire a city administrator, then we've just said we don't really need an assistant city administrator, right?
Yeah, I don't see, the only job that works for the council that we have to have is the city clerk.
Clerk.
We have to have a city clerk, so this other position is just
Yes,
a formality position. That's one reason why we kept that, was because I believe there was more assurance you were gonna stay, more than anything.
except that she's graduating in December with her master's degree, and we face another turnover and
Fair
another
enough.
new staff member that will have to be trained.
So this is a promotion in title only.
What about the hourly rate? To stay the same, or is it gonna be more?
I don't know, the way that I've been looking at the budget, you can increase her pay because she's going to increase her responsibilities. However, like Adrian, I don't know why, but Jared had Adrian down in 3 different hourly rates in the same year. In 2024, he filled 3 different clerk positions, and one was 8 hours and one was 16 and another one was 16, and he was being paid in all 3 rows. And I don't know why it was configured that way instead of one rate and one number of hours. But I can ask him and find out why it was done that way. But I do think that, if she is being expected to take over some of the things that Javi was doing, not now, I don't know that we wanna do that without any pay raise at all. Because, like I said, she will have a master's degree in 3 months and, become very desirable, on the job market. So I think part of what this city needs to start thinking about is how to, do more in terms of training and retaining. Because turnover is like, I forget what it is, but it's like 7 times somebody's salary to train them. So by the time you get them trained, if you keep turning them over, you just have to keep training a new person, and that's extremely expensive per hour compared to their hourly rate. Those are just my thoughts on it. There is room in the budget to pay Greg and to increase her salary by a few dollars, nothing crazy. More than anything rate-wise, it would probably be that we need to increase her clock hours, not her pay check. You know what I'm saying? She needs to be able to work more hours. than what she works now, because we
But
don't.
are you willing to work more hours if you're not getting paid?
Well, she can't.
I don't know that I
You
can
can't
do that.
until December, right? Until you graduate.
3 months, yeah.
Yeah, until December.
But even then, I'm still, like Mayor said, I'm still expected to pick up everything caveat behind which I already am picking it up. So it's like, it only makes sense because as I sit in my position as city clerk with the current hours I have, I get what I can get done in the hours, not in what the city is paying me, because if I do the work in the time required, it's not part-time.
Understood.
And that, again, just comes back to the same exact point we were at with the last agenda item, which is, we need help tomorrow. Like, I am not an administrator. I don't know all of that. I can't do all of that. I am learning as fast as I can, but I should not be expected as a volunteer to do assistant city administrator, mayor, and whoever else isn't around. I mean, part of that, we just need to like bite the bullet and pay some people and get them in here working.
And be forced to walk out because of a clock.
So would she be working full-time? Would we pay her benefits?
She's not working full-time, and I think what we were talking about is that, she right now has 24 hours and so did Hobby. So between them both, it would be full-time, but we're not doing it that way. Like if we were to actually stack her and Hobby's job together, it would be full-time. But what we've talked about, especially because she's still taking her last classes, is like 30 hours a week, where it bumps up the number of hours she's available to be here. But we also bump up the amount of work she has to try to get done because she has to be 2 people at one time.
So how many hours were you working before?
24.
Okay,
And
so
she would
you
go
would
up
up
to
it by
30.
6.
Mhm.
But you're making more money because you're working more hours now.
Right.
Right.
And can you handle that?
Oh yeah, there's times I just leave because I have to.
She's already hit the mark of how many hours she's allowed to be there, and Dwayne will tell her, you've already maxed out your hours, you need to go home now.
So this is a issue of hours because you gotta fit the peg in the budget. Is that what you're trying to say? Okay, that explains it a lot better, thanks, for me at least. Okay, thank you for your explanation.
Mm-hmm.
That explains it a whole lot better. I keep forgetting about that chart with the breakdown on that, and that might be why Adrian was listed, because he was covering 3 positions at one point, because he came in as utility clerk,
Mm-hmm.
and they had 30, and he ended up working full time doing all of it.
Right.
So
And
that
I've
might
been
be-
covering as a utility clerk.
Yeah,
no,
she,
I know
every
you
week
said that.
she's also a utility clerk, so she would be stretched over 3 positions until the new utility clerk gets fully trained. So anyways, motions, table, what do you wanna do?
I will make a motion that we appoint Deanna Luisa Guevara Garza as city clerk and assistant city administrator immediately, and moving her hours from 24 to 30 hours per week.
We basically can do that, regardless, because the 2 positions allow the hours on the budget.
So we wouldn't have to change her position.
No, you have to add her position because she has to be able to get more hours. She's being sent home because she's exceeding her 24 hours. Because she's covering another position now, she can work those extra hours. She's not over the budget. Dwayne, in theory, is telling her you can't work anymore, that you've gone over the 24 hours.
She's got a
In that
cap on
position.
24 hours a week.
In that position, by carrying another hat, she can then work another day, and so she can, in theory, work the Monday through Thursday.
The slash gives her the ability to.
Right now,
up to
she can't.
30 hours.
It's a budget technicality more than anything, at least in my regard. I'm not trying to be insulting to you in anywhere, but I had explained it to myself under what was the thought process of doing that. But I remember going over the budget and specifically how we, set it up last year, is it's 2 different line items, and that was why, because, that's why Adrian had to leave, is Jared wasn't gonna leave, he didn't leave. And so Adrian didn't have, inside the city. Not that we could afford it anyway, because he got paid a lot of money, But that was another issue altogether, and it really was, we did not have a position for it with the money. So I don't have a problem with it at all.
All right.
It's-
I made a motion,
technically-
any second?
I'll second that.
But
Discussion.
technically,
Okay,
I thought we said we don't need assistant
We,
city
we-
administrator.
we do for budgetary purposes in order to allow her to work more hours.
Okay, I'll
Does
discuss.
that make sense?
It does, I'm just, so that means she just gets more hours, but she stays at the same rate of pay.
Yes.
Correct.
You can't work more than 24 hours according to our budget unless she wears another hat.
So she'll work 30.
So she can now work Hobby's hours,
Some of Hobby.
some of Hobby's hours, and work more than the 24. Right now, the city budget is very specific. You have, this is your box, you can only work that many hours. There's some leeway from one week to the other, some of them we get you, but as a general thumb, the budget for that position, you have that position, that's the pay. That's the total number of hours that they can work. There is some overlap, but you can't all of a sudden increase your hours by 25%. You know, we can't.
Well, so what if somebody works 32 hours, then you have to pay them benefits, right?
Yeah, there
I
is,
think it's 32.
it's over, it's a thousand, I don't remember if it's 1,000 hours a year or something like that. I don't know equivalent to, other parties on that. But
The city administrator would know that.
but basically,
We
I
haven't
haven't-
found one yet.
I kinda know what he is,
So
but
why don't
I'm
we-
not gonna say. We're not sweating, but.
Well, I think the issue is that we need the bandwidth. And I think it's legitimate, given we've got two.
If you can work the hours, that's the most important thing. The emphasis you can work the hours, that's the most important thing. Can
We
you
need
work
we need the bandwidth in the city. We've got the budget because Hobby left. Deanna's available to work the hours. She can't work the hours if she only has the same title. By adding the second title, she can pick up 6 more hours a week, which will be a huge help to getting work done in the city. Otherwise, she has to leave and she couldn't do the work even if she wanted.
That makes sense.
That's a pretty,
But with the budget, the pay's the same, right?
well, we have a discussion about the budget and that as far as positions and how many hours in each position, that is part of the budget process. We're working on last year's budget. As it sits right now, last year's budget has line items that we have to fill the boxes.
So this fits within last year's budget.
Yes.
Good.
Okay,
A second on my motion?
I seconded it.
Oh, you seconded.
let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right then, it passes. But do you know off the top of your head, Miss City Clerk, do you have to be sworn into that position? No, because it's not a real position, right?
Wondering on that.
I don't know, on city clerk.
Yes, you did, but not on that
You know,
one. We made it up. I mean, we didn't make it up, but I mean, it's made up position. It's not in the local government, but it is. I'm on it.
yeah.
All right,
Motion to adjourn?
I'll
Yeah.
second that.
Well, wait, let me ask about
wait, hold on, not yet.
tomorrow.
What?
What about tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night is the budget conversation. It's a budget hearing. No decisions will be made. It's just to do a draft run of the budget and get all of your input and get all of the categories that need to be adjusted and figure out what needs to move up or down or back or forth or what's doable, what's not doable.
My motion.
Wait, no, wait, hold on, because he
I
has,
have a point of contention that.
Oh, sure.
When was the hearing, the number one, the hearing tomorrow, right, it's a hearing, right?
mhm,
A hearing tomorrow was not posted on the newsflash to anybody.
but it was posted on,
It was posted in the paper.
Mhm.
And when was it posted in the box, in the bulletin board?
it was posted in the bulletin board last week.
It was not posted in the bulletin board as of Sunday.
Which one, the colorful one?
Uh-huh.
The colorful one?
The budget hearing was not in the board on Sunday. I walked by with my dog cleaning Alan Bates and it was not in the box.
It's been there because Javi posted that one before he left, and he was supposed to do all of the online ones, but he did not post it online, and I didn't know that until yesterday when our attorney brought that up to us.
It's not in the box on Sunday.
It's been there. Are you sure it wasn't just covered by something? It's
No.
been there
I have
since
pictures.
28, since the.
You know what happens when you do that?
It was not in there. I'll send an email to you about that and copy it.
Yeah, that's fine. But do you wanna cancel it?
I'm just telling you, it wasn't in the box.
I know what you're saying, but what are you
I'm
asking us to do
concerned, I'm
about it?
concerned about it, because it wasn't posted in the proper amount of time.
Okay, and so what would you like to do to resolve that?
I'll talk to you about it.
No, because it's tomorrow. We need to decide.
I don't think it was posted. The problem is that it was posted in the paper, and you have to have 10 days advance notice to post it in the paper, period.
Mhm.
And we are now running out of time.
Yeah.
But it was not in the box on Sunday.
It has been in the box. I don't know, I can't explain that to you because I believe you, 100% I believe you. I cannot explain it though because I watched Javi put it in the box. So I know for a fact it's been there since the 28th, but I don't know why it wouldn't have been there on Sunday if it had been there before that.
Is it possible that the canceled meeting was put on top of it?
It is. I mean, I don't know, because I do know I watched him put it in there.
Can someone go out to the box now and see?
Well, it's there
if
now.
there now.
It was there on Monday.
It was
It
not
was not there on Sunday.
I believe that, I just don't know why not,
We were
because,
doing our cleanup, and we went all in Allen Bates, picked up at Allen, came back, and we come back that side of the street and come back on this side of the street, and I looked over and
Sam,
answered.
you looked at it with somebody and asked me a question about it. It was there last week.
Yeah, so maybe it's up, I mean, does someone have a key now to go see if it's
But,
fine?
well, they said it's up there
It's up
now.
there, it was there on
It
Monday.
is now, but they're saying it
Yes.
wasn't on Sunday for some reason, but I know for a fact it was all last week. I know it was. It's been there since like the 28th of September. Since whenever Javi put it in the newspaper, he put it in the bulletin board box the same exact day.
Okay, so as a citizen, and this has nothing to do with my husband being on council, please understand that. I do not understand why we cannot get meetings.
Just let that go, man.
Okay.
It happens, just let it go.
And it especially happens when you don't have any staff. So that makes it a
I'm just
heck of a lot harder.
reality.
Okay, we can talk about after the meeting, we've really gone far off the rails of
Yeah,
what's posted.
That's why I understand your concern, absolutely.
I don't want it changing, and then I'm gonna get busted by everybody on this council for the fact that I changed a meeting again, and now everyone's schedules are screwed up. So we can change it, absolutely, 100%, I'm fine with that, but
So we should
I'm not
probably
making that decision
adjourn,
by myself.
we should probably adjourn and we can, the three of us chat about it as soon as we're adjourned.
That's what I meant.
All right,
We adjourn the city council meeting at 8:15.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yes, I'll favor.
in favor, all right.